I feel like there are times when Olive Oyl definitely has some real problems because she's meant to be with Popeye, having a nice time with him, but she's dreaming of a Sheik, and it's not always the case. Sometimes, for example, Bluto will come after her, but she's got no interest in him. Sometimes she really just wants somebody other than Popeye, and it's not great. Either way, A Wolf in Sheik's Clothing is a very creative cartoon. I think they made a really good use of the setting. It's not a personal favourite, but it's certainly not bad. This was released in 1948. It's a Famous Studios cartoon directed by Izzy Sparber and Thomas Johnson. It's written by Larry Riley and Isadore Klein, with a voice cast including Jackson Beck as the Sheik, Jack Mercer as Popeye, and Mae Questel as Olive Oyl. And Popeye and Olive Oyl are having a nice time out in the desert, and Olive Oyl wishes that she could be with a Sheik. And then the Sheik character, who is basically the kind of Bluto character, is there to pursue her, which is obviously not that difficult since she was basically wanting to pursue a Sheik anyway. And the big question is, will she end up with the Sheik? Will she end up with Popeye? Will Popeye need to rescue her? I'm not going to answer any of those questions, but certainly it's not too different from a lot of the Popeye versus Bluto or Bluto-esque characters, but with a more desert setting. And I do think they made a good use of the desert setting. I think the animation is brilliant. They made a really good use of the space. There's a lot of variety in what's happening. I think the colours work really well with the setting. I prefer the Popeye cartoons that are maybe a little bit more bright and bold in the colour palette, but that's purely personal preference. I do think the colour palette works here. The character designs are good, of course. The character movements are very good. Visually, it works really well. The pacing is very good. I don't love Olive Oyl's attitude, but at the same time, that's not completely unique to this cartoon. As I said, sometimes she's much more passive when somebody is pursuing her. Sometimes she plays a much more active role, even when she's meant to be with Popeye. Don't love that, but it certainly works well enough in terms of the progression of the narrative, and I kind of almost want to say her actions are believable for the character. I don't know if I like Olive Oyl as a character. I'm really not sure. But I do like Popeye. It was great to watch him here. As I said, it will never be my favourite Popeye cartoon just because the animation is not my personal preference for a Popeye cartoon. But I think they were really creative with it. Everything is believable within the context of the cartoon. The animation is very good. The colour choices work very well. Good use of sound, good voice acting, great character movements, all things considered. A Wolf in Sheik's Clothing is a decent Popeye cartoon and one that's worth watching if you're a Popeye fan.